statements of the testimony given in this cause and be the truth so help you God. You lower your hand, and witness stands right over here, sir. Just have a seat, make yourself comfortable. Adjust the microphone. Speak up so everyone can hear you, please.
Would you tell us your name?
My name is Arnulfo Reyes.
And what do you do for a living, sir?
I was a teacher.
You were a teacher?
Yes.
Are you now?
No.
And when was the last day that you taught?
May 24th of 2022.
And where did you teach?
At Robb Elementary.
And is that in Uvalde County, Texas?
Yes, sir.
Who did you teach? In general terms, what grade level?
It was a self-contained fourth grade classroom.
A self-contained fourth grade classroom? What does that mean?
That means that I taught all subjects: math, reading, social studies, science.
You taught all of the classes?
All subjects, yes.
Okay. And what age group did you teach?
Throughout my whole career, or just?
Just this year, May 24, 2020.
It was fourth grade.
And how old are those youngsters?
They're 9 at the beginning of the year, and then some turned 10.
Okay. How long had you been a teacher before this day?
17 years.
Okay. And was your room was what number?
Room 111.
And was it adjoined in another room?
Yes, it was joined to another room, yes.
And what room did it adjoin?
112.
And were there teachers in that room also?
Yes.
And who were those teachers?
Those teachers were Irma Garcia and Eva Mireles.
Okay. Can you tell us how that day started, May 24, 2022?
It started like any other day. I mean, just a normal day, like to go to school, yeah.
Okay. And did y'all have award ceremonies before the day was over?
Yes, we had a award ceremony that was supposed to take place at 10:30 around there. We were just waiting for them to call us to the cafeteria.
So the cafeteria is where the award ceremony took place?
Yes.
And what is award ceremony?
Award ceremony is like when kids get awards for special things that they can do and achieve, and so we just give them awards for the special things.
And did the parents attend the award ceremony?
Yes, they're invited to go, yes.
Okay. And how big was your class that day?
That day, my class was about, I want to say 14 or 15.
Around 14?
Yeah, 14.
And after award ceremony, did any of the kids leave?
Yes.
And how many kids left?
I believe there was 3 kids that left that day.
Okay. And so after award ceremony, then what happened?
After the award ceremony, we headed back to our classroom.
And that was at Robb Elementary School?
Yes.
Room 111?
Yes.
In the fourth grade wing?
Yes.
Did you get back to your classroom?
Yes.
And what happened next?
After we got back to the classroom, we resumed doing what we were doing before we went to the ceremony. And so everybody went back to their spots, and we just resumed what we were doing.
Okay. When you say they went back to your spots, could you tell us how your classroom was configured?
Well, we were watching a movie, so like most of the desks were gathered together, kind of in the, I would say, in the middle of the classroom, and they were, the kids were on the other side of that, and they were watching the movie on the big TV that we have.
And were the lights on or off because of the movie?
They were off.
They were off?
Yes.
And what were you doing during this time?
I was behind my desk and entering grades into the computer and doing things that need to be done before the year's over.
And where was your desk in the room?
It was in a corner. It's in a corner by a long table.
By long table?
Yeah.
Okay. The We've seen photographs of room 111. Was it the corner where the doorway was? The entry to the doorway?
Yes, on that same side of the door.
And was it close to the closet?
No,
Where
no.
was it from the closet?
Diagonally across from.
Diagonal across to the opposite corner.
Yes,
That's where your desk was?
yes,
And that's where you were sitting?
yes.
And then what happened?
We were there, you know, I was doing my thing and the kids were watching the movie, and I heard a noise, but it was kind of far, but it was still loud. And
Did
then,
you recognize the noise?
no, I didn't. What it assumed to, I mean, I assumed that it sounded like books when you bang them on the floor, and that's what it sounded like. But it was kind of far.
And how many times did you hear that sound?
I would say maybe like 5, 6 times or around there. And as I heard it, it kept on getting closer and closer, but it still seemed distant anyways, but yeah.
And did it ring a bell to you as to what that may be?
No. Mm-mm.
So then what happened?
So then, you know, I kept on going and doing my thing, and the kids kept on doing their thing, and it was quiet. And then as we were there, they started again, the loud sounds and more constant, and they were just very close now.
Very close, what do you mean?
Like really loud, really closer. They sounded closer to where we were at.
And did that change your mind about it being books?
Yeah, it took me a while to process that, just because it did change my mind of that it was not books, but I didn't know what it was still anyway, yeah.
Okay. So then what happened?
The sounds got louder, like I said, and I was still sitting there behind my desk and trying to comprehend what was going on. And then, for some reason, I looked at the wall that's across from me, which would be facing room 112. And then there was just a lot more. And then I saw like pieces of the wall, or some objects falling. Not too sure if it was sheetrock or what it was, but something was falling off the wall. And at that same time, I had a student come and ask me, what's going on?
And what did you say?
And I told her, I said, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. And then I told my kids to go ahead and get under the table where where we've always practiced to go when we're on lockdown.
Okay, tell me about lockdown. What is lockdown?
Lockdown is when we turn the lights off in the room and make sure that the door's locked and hide out of the view of anybody.
And is there a specific place that the children are told to hide?
Yes, we have a long table that would be like on this side, and so they would hide under that long table.
And had y'all trained on that?
Yes, always.
And so when you told the children it was a lockdown hide, what did they do?
They all went under that table.
And was this loud banging going on at that time?
Yes. So when the students were going under the table, and I got off from my desk area and was going around to hide from view. That is when I looked at my door, and that's where I saw him.
What did you see?
A black shadow.
And what was the black shadow doing?
The black shadow was holding a gun, and I know that he was holding a gun because I just saw the fire come out of the gun.
And were you sitting or standing at the time?
Standing.
And what did you do?
Well, he shot at me. He hit me in my arm.
Can you show us where he hit you?
He hit right here.
Okay.
So he hit me on my arm, and that's when I fell to the ground. And then after I fell to the ground, he came around and he shot the kids.
How close was he to you when that happened?
He was very close. I was on the other side of my kidney table, and he was probably behind the kidney table.
And so it was one of the first things he did after shooting you was to shoot your kids.
Yes, sir.
And about how many shots did you hear go off?
Just a lot. I couldn't tell you how many, but just a lot.
Did the shadow with the gun stay in room 111 the entire time?
I'm not sure if it was the whole time, but what I do remember was a lot of the coughing that he was doing and the footsteps. So I heard a lot of it.
Did you ever hear him leave room 111?
No, sir. The only time that I would say is when that he walked to the other classroom would be when I heard one of the students say, "Officers, come in here. We're here."
Excuse me?
When he went to the other classroom was when a student from that classroom said, "Officer, come in here. We're in here." And then I heard walks over there, and then I heard more shooting.
And did you hear that voice again?
No.
Is your timing accurate in your mind based on these events?
I would assume that it's correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, did you say that it was your timing was kind of jumbled up?
Well, I mean, I didn't have a concept of time, like actual time, but what did seem like 30 minutes or, I mean, what I felt was about 30 minutes.
Okay. Did the gunman approach you anymore?
He did approach me again. That's when he came and he tried to taunt me. He got some of my blood and splashed it on my face. And then he also...
and what were you doing when he splashed the blood on your face?
I was on the ground, hurt, yeah.
Were your eyes open or closed?
I closed them
And why did you close your eyes?
because I wanted him to think that I was dead.
And did you have a time that you could talk to your children about what they should do?
Just at the beginning, I had told them to close their eyes because I didn't want them to see if something bad was going to happen.
And so as your eyes were closed and you were being taunted, did anything happen at that time?
No, not that I recall. My phone was ringing on my back. Mm-hmm.
The injury to your arm, was that the only injury that you received?
No.
Okay. Tell us about that. How did that happen?
This one or the other one?
The other.
The other injury?
Have you told us about the arm arm injury? Was there anything else about that I needed to ask?
I don't think so. I mean, this happened at the beginning, but when he came back and after he taunted me and did all of that stuff, later on he did come back and he shot me on the back.
He shot you in the back?
Mm-hmm.
And am I correct, you're not sure how long all this took place?
I'm not sure how long. I just know it felt like forever.
And how did you finally leave room 111?
I was dragged out.
Okay. Were you then alert when the breach happened, when the police officers came in?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
So when, as I was laying there, I heard like the door open, and then I heard little clanking of the desks, the metal, and that's when I told myself, they're coming in, anything can happen, and pretty much prayed, and I just, I gave myself to the Lord, and just closed my eyes real tight, and just waited for everything to be over.
And what did you hear?
Well, after the clanging of the desks, I just heard gunfire, just a lot of it.
And after the gunfire, what happened next?
What I assumed was a border patrol, because I think I read it somewhere on his clothing. He had said, get up if you can get up, or talk if you can talk. And that's when I spoke and I said, I'm here, I'm alive.
And after you spoke and said you're here, you're alive, what happened?
He turned me over on my back, and he got me from the pant leg of my pants, and he dragged me out of my classroom.
And where did you go?
I ended up in the hallway, like next to the kids' bathroom, and that's where I was with the first EMT that started a tourniquet on me.
So all the way down that to the north T section and then toward the east door?
Yes.
That's where they worked on you?
Yes.
And did any of your children in room 111 survive this attack?
No, sir.
And in room 112, are you familiar with those children also?
Some of them, yes. Mm-hmm.
And have you kept a picture of them on your fence outside your home since then?
Yes, sir.
And did we ask you if you could identify each of these children so we could have a name attached to each of the paragraphs in the indictment?
Yes.
And are you able to?
Yes.
And I'll ask you now just one time as to each of these children, were they alive and well on the morning of May 24, 2022?
Yes, sir.
The state offers State's Exhibit 884 through 914.
It's admitted. You may publish.
Thank you, Your Honor. Starting with Exhibit 884, and if I'll ask you to tell us if these children were in your room or in room 112, and whether or not they survived. Okay?
Okay.
Starting with Exhibit 884, do you recognize that person?
Yes, I do.
Who is that?
That's Josiah Garcia.
And whose class was he in?
He was in my class.
Did he survive?
No.
885,
Rogelio Torres, he was in my classroom,
did he survive?
and he did not survive.
I'm going to ask you about each one, so if you just say that, if not. State's Exhibit 886,
Alicia Ramirez, and she was in room 112. She did not survive.
State's Exhibit 887,
Neve Bravo, she was in my classroom, and she did not survive.
State's Exhibit 888,
Miranda Mathis, and she was in the next classroom, and she did not survive.
State's Exhibit 889,
Eliana Torres, and she was in my classroom, and she did not survive.
890,
Leila Salazar, and she was in my classroom, and she did not survive.
891,
Annabelle Rodriguez, she was in my classroom, and she did not survive.
892,
Jace Huevanos, he was in my classroom, and he did not survive.
893,
Eliana Garcia, and she was in room 112. She did not survive.
Exhibit 894,
Tess Mata, and she was in the next classroom, and she did not survive.
895,
Maite Rodriguez, she was in the next classroom, and she did not survive.
896,
Jayla Silguero, she was in the next classroom, and she did not survive.
897,
Amory Jo Garza, she was in the next classroom, and she did not survive.
898,
McKenna Elrod, and she was in the next classroom, and she did not survive.
900,
Alexandria Rubio, she was in my classroom, and she did not survive.
902,
Jacqueline Cáceres, she was in my classroom, and she did not survive.
903,
Jose Flores, he was in my classroom, and he did not survive.
904,
Xavier Lopez, he was in my classroom, and he did not survive.
Now I'd like to move to Exhibit 905.
AJ Martinez, he was in the next classroom, and he's a survivor.
And State's Exhibit 906.
Gilberto Mata, he was in the next classroom, and he's a survivor.
Exhibit 907.
Jordan Olivares was in the next classroom, and he's a survivor.
Exhibit 908.
Kendall Olivares, she was in the next room, and she's a survivor.
909.
Maya Zamora, she was in the next classroom, and she's a survivor.
910.
Mia Cerrillo, she was in the next classroom, and she's a survivor.
911.
Noah Orona, he was in the next classroom, and he's a survivor.
912.
Samuel Salinas, he was in the next classroom, and he's a survivor.
913.
Jaden Carizales in the next classroom, and he was a survivor.
And 914.
Chloe Menen Torres, the next classroom, and she's a survivor.
And when you say next classroom, in each of those situations were you speaking of classroom 112?
Yes, sir. Room 112, yes.
Please.
Mr. Reyes, my name is Nico LaHood. I'm one of the lawyers that represents Adrian Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
You've never testified before?
No.
You've interviewed before but not testified, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you questions, and there's no guideline on how to ask questions about pure evil, but I'm going to try, okay? and it's not evil that you committed, and it's not evil that Adrian committed, but I have to ask you questions about that incident, okay? And so if you need to stop me or we go as slow as you want to, but I need your permission because I have to ask you specific questions, okay?
Okay.
I mean, the jury's already given us permission, but I want to be respectful to you too, okay?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to kind of compartmentalize it. I know the government went over what happened that day and broke it down. And we've all seen the heart-wrenching video. I want to start with lockdowns, like what lockdowns meant to you, to the school, to the community. You would agree that lockdowns were usually tied to bailouts, right?
Yes.
And the jury's heard about it, but you're an individual witness, and so bailouts dealt with someone who allegedly was here illegally, and they're trying to evade capture of police, and they will bail out, that's where the term comes from, their vehicle, to get away from police.
Yes.
You would agree that the lockdowns in your community were not focused on active shooters?
They weren't focused on shooters?
The lockdowns were mainly correlated to bailouts, not active shooters, is my point.
No, I think it applies to all. Like, it applies to bailouts and active shooters.
The training does, yes, sir. But I'm
Yes.
just talking about the perception in the community it's associated to bailouts, is my point.
I would say so, yes. Mm-hmm.
And so the lockdown rules, I believe you testified, and this is how you were trained: lights off, get under the table and hide, right?
Yes.
But there's another critical point of the protocol, right? Of the lockdown.
Yes. To make sure that we're out of view and make sure that the doors are locked.
Yeah, and that's the part I wanted to focus on.
Okay.
Because the safety aspect of a lockdown procedure is the locks on the door, right?
Yes.
The other part of the lockdown procedure is to hopefully not be noticed by, if there was an active shooter, they're looking around, and if someone is hidden and in a corner and lights are off, they may think that no one's in there and they'll keep going.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So there's one aspect of it is not being seen. The other aspect of it, which is the locks, is to try to deter or stop a shooter from entering a room.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
Mm-hmm.
And the school had rules on locks, correct?
Yes.
And the rule was that the doors were to be locked at all times.
Yes.
I mean, and the rule was no exceptions. Right?
Yes.
But there was a culture in the school where, and because of resources, that there weren't enough keys to go around to substitute teachers, that there was a magnet system used at the school, right?
That depended on the teacher, I guess, yeah.
But it was known, right? It was known that magnets were used to wedge in between the door and the frame so it would not click, and then someone wouldn't have to get up every time to open the door with a key, right?
Yes.
And this is not your decision, but it's not like other schools that have like a key fob where they can just click it and then put it back in and easy access, and it can lock easily as well, right?
Yes.
Teachers actually had a key.
Yes.
And so it wasn't an official system supported by the administration, but it was a system that many teachers used, that magnet system, right?
I've seen it not only in our district, but I've seen it in other districts as well.
Yes, sir. And then that's what I mean. This was more of a culture of the whole school district, that for whatever reason these magnets were used, right?
And yes.
And is it fair to say that the administration discouraged them but did not ban them?
I would say so.
I mean, there wasn't a feeling that said if you use a magnet system, you're going to be fired. It wasn't like that from the administration.
No.
So the administration kind of, and I don't, if you don't agree, then don't agree with me, but kind of look the other way. Don't use the magnet system, but knew that people were using the magnet system. Is that a fair overall statement?
I mean, I would assume that she knew. I mean,
Well, you're talking about Ms. Gutierrez, the principal, but I'm just talking about the whole district, right?
yeah, I guess, yeah.
Because your words were the magnets were used in other schools that you know of, right? Correct?
Yes,
And then also, not only, those are for the indoor locks, but the external locks, the external doors were supposed to be locked at all times, correct?
yes,
And you know now that the external door was not locked, right?
yes, now I know.
But the east door was always left unlocked, correct? The one near the library?
Yes,
And the reason why is because kids would go so much that they just left that one, that was knowingly left unlocked.
I think they were left open due to rotations, going to PE, going to computer lab, going to other places, yes.
And if I can direct your attention back to your room, you had a front door to 111, but then there was also a door in between you and 112.
Yes,
And both those doors had the ability to be locked, right?
yes.
And you know, do you know now that both doors were not locked?
No.
No, you don't know, or no, they weren't locked?
I didn't know that they were both unlocked.
And I'm not being disrespectful, okay? Whose responsibility is it in room 111 to make sure those doors are locked?
That would be my responsibility.
And so, and the reason why you had left doors unlocked in the past is because your room had printers in them, correct?
I had what we call like a community printer,
Yes, sir.
and not necessarily leave the door unlocked. Sometimes it just didn't latch.
Well, that's a different issue, right? So
Yeah.
there's we'll talk about the latching issue in a second, and you reporting that to the school. But on the community printer, there was actually people would come into your classroom 2 to 3 times a day. You've said before,
Mm-hmm.
and would use the printer, and so you would leave it unlocked at times.
Yes,
But at times you had a student, I think it was Rogelio, that
Yes.
you had appointed. So whenever you did leave it unlocked, he would get up to open the door for the printing and when someone needed to come in.
yes,
But at other times you would leave it unlocked just because it was a distraction, I think, an inconvenience, I believe you said in the past.
yeah. It was sometimes an inconvenience, but I mean, I wouldn't leave it open all the time. Unlocked all the time. I mean,
I understand. But on this day, the doors between 111 and 112 were unlocked, right?
I believe that one was unlocked just because Miss Mireles, who was the special ed teacher on that side, she always came in through there to get something printed. So yeah.
But the rule still said that the doors had to be locked, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And you had, earlier that day, you had exited your door to cross to room 105 to see if the teacher in 105 wanted to order something because it was a kind of a relaxed day. You guys were ordering food.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so at some point, we can play later for the jury, but you've seen that you leave your classroom from 111 and you cross the hall to 105, and then at some point you come back to your room.
Yes.
And have you seen the video of you doing that?
Yes.
And did you recognize that it looked like the door, just you opened it right away, it wasn't locked?
No, I mean, not that I opened it right away.
Okay. But you don't recall using your key, and you couldn't say whether you had locked the door or not, right?
The only reason that I know that I don't know for sure if I locked my door or not was because I still had my keys on my arm when I ended up in the hospital and all that. So if I still had my key here, why would I have it here if I didn't lock the door? That's what
Is in your mind.
is in my mind, yes.
Are you aware now, today, that the Rangers came to a conclusion that the door was not locked?
Yeah. hmm
And so that was a factual objective determination that an independent investigator made, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now I do want to talk about the malfunctioning, because your door, although it was able to be locked, sometimes the catch would get stuck in the door, right?
Yes.
And you'd have to kind of either shake it or jimmy it, and then it would click when you would shut the door.
Yes.
You had reported it. You claimed and I'm say claimed only because we don't have a work order, but you claimed that you reported it to the school, correct?
Yes.
And I believe you have said that you reported it to the principal and to the secretary. Is that true?
Yes.
But there's not an official work order. We cannot, the government or us, we can't get our hands on a work order where you're requesting for them to fix that malfunction, right?
Yes, but I think that the school police department should have a record of that. If they did walkthroughs, how come they didn't report it?
Okay, well, you're asking a question, and I can try to answer that.
Mm-hmm.
You guys didn't have a police officer assigned to your school, right?
No, but they did walkthroughs.
Well, we'll go one thing at a time.
Okay.
You didn't have a police officer assigned to your school, right?
No.
So the high school had a police officer full-time, but unfortunately your school did not have a police officer full-time, right?
No.
And the walkthrough by whomever, whichever PD did it, it was to make sure doors were locked, right?
Yes.
And is it safe to say there was a culture of warning teachers when that police officer, whoever it was, would check on the doors so them to remove the magnets? You remember that?
No.
Like teachers wouldn't tell other teachers that the police officer is there to remove the magnet?
No.
Okay. So now I want to direct your attention back to a little bit to before the incident happened. I think you testified that you thought you heard books dropping on the floor,
Yes.
but it was far but loud, correct?
Yes.
And then it got closer,
Yes.
and then at some point you said that you saw sheetrock chipping off of the walls.
Something was falling or, yeah.
Can you, because maybe I'm not clear, can you, Judge, may I stand up, please?
Yes.
If you're sitting at your desk in that room,
Mm-hmm.
will you tell me where to stand where the front door is to 111?
On this side.
Tell me when to stop.
Right there.
Okay.
Right there. Mhm.
And I'm sorry.
That's fine.
And is this the distance you were sitting as well? I mean, your desk from the door?
No, I would say it's probably where that gentleman's right there.
This gentleman here?
Yes. Right there. Right there.
Do you know the measurements of your schoolroom, of your classroom?
Mm-hmm. No, but I would say it's probably like 30 feet by 20 feet or something like that.
Okay. And then when you saw, because I have to ask, when you saw things chipping and you made a decision ultimately to have the children hide, it was because you were worried that maybe they were in danger?
Yes.
In past lockdowns, would you go lock the door in past lockdowns?
Well, I would have gone to go check the door, yes.
And as these sounds got louder and louder, but in this incident, for whatever reason, and I'm not going to try to push you to try to remember why, you didn't go check the door to see if it was locked, right?
No, because I was confused of what the noise was. I didn't know it was a gun at the time.
And again, I have to ask this question. In the lockdown training, you're not taught to figure out what the danger may be. Once you make a decision to do a lockdown, one of the responsibilities is to immediately lock the door, right?
Yes, but we weren't told like how we had practiced before. So when we would go into lockdown, it would usually come out on the intercom, or we had the Raptor system, which we never really used. So I wasn't too sure if we were on a lockdown or not.
Okay, let's break that down, because
Okay.
you said two things. You said intercom and you said Raptor system.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody knows what an intercom is. We're going to hear about how the school used it, but let's explain what the Raptor system is.
The Raptor system is an app that you have on your phone. So whenever there's something that's happening bad, it should come up on your phone and let you know that you're on a lockdown or something, or whatever's, the problem.
But if a teacher doesn't have their phone with them, then they can't get that part of the notification, right?
That's correct, yes.
Did you get a Raptor system notification?
No, sir.
Did you have your phone with you?
Yes.
Because you were receiving text messages and calls after you were shot,
Which is surprising to me because I never got text messages during the school year.
But so for sure, nobody was using the Raptor system to warn of this incident, correct? You didn't get a warning from your phone.
I didn't get a warning on my phone. I don't know if anybody else did.
Right. Now, I'm focused on you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the intercom system. In the past, how would the intercom system be used?
Well, she would come on there and say, okay, we're on lockdown. And so we would do what we needed to do.
And she is the principal?
Yes.
But in your training, a teacher doesn't have to wait for the principal to go on lockdown. They can make an independent decision themselves. Do you agree with that?
I guess, yeah, you could.
Well, I'm just going to respectfully push you on this a little bit. But no, but the training specifically says that you didn't, because if a teacher or a principal doesn't act or is not notified of an incident on the west side of a school, they would know, so a teacher can take responsibility in their own hands and call for a lockdown with their students, right?
So I'm guessing that you're assuming that I knew that was a gun? Because I didn't make the correlation that the noise was coming from a gun until the gun was actually in my classroom. So the noise and the gun, I could not actually tell that we were in danger. It was just a loud noise and it was just banging. So if you're...
I'm trying not to assume anything, that's why I'm asking questions, okay? And I'm really not trying to blame you or do anything disrespectful. I just have to ask these questions, okay?
Okay.
At some point, because we saw in the video, Amy Marin was yelling with another teacher down the hall,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to say yes, just because
Yes.
she's typing down.
I'm
It's
sorry.
okay, it's just for the court reporter. And you did not hear Amy yelling.
I did not hear Amy yell, no.
Did the teachers in 112, what were they doing during this time?
I'm not sure. I think that they were watching a movie as well.
But at some point, you have stated that they were trying to lock their door. You believe that they were locking their door.
I never stated that.
Have you ever spoken before to grand jury?
Yes.
I'm going to find it for you, okay?
Okay.
Trish, are you staying in town? You staying in town?
Yes.
Okay. Tell you what, folks, we're gonna go, if he's not trying to drive back to Uvalde tonight, we're gonna go ahead and break for,
Judge, can I just make this last point before we take a break? I found it.
if you found it.
Yeah, I did, Judge. Sorry about that. I had written down the wrong number. And during the grand jury, you were under oath like you are today?
Yes.
And you answered questions honestly. May I approach?
Yeah.
I'm going to direct your attention to the transcript of your grand jury testimony, okay? Can you read line 13 to 17 to yourself, sir? Did you read it?
Mhm.
So as I said again, you testified before, because you were asked a question, did either of the teachers in room 112 come to your room and say, hey, I just got the Raptor? Your answer, no. Lock your door? I believe they were trying to lock their door. Do you remember saying that now?
Yes.
Okay. And so you said before that you believed that the teachers in 112 were trying to lock their door, right?
I believe that's what I had seen, or I was told from other teachers, yes.
Wait, that's not what you said in this testimony. You said you believed it because they were right next to you, that they were locking their door, correct?
Hmm. I believe that that's what they were doing.
I didn't know if you wanted to stop now, but I was going to make you point.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and break for the evening. We'll start at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Very important you remember my instructions concerning any publicity, media, etc. Don't talk to anybody about the case. Don't let anybody talk to you. Mr. Reyes, I need to give you some instructions, so if you'll stay with us momentarily. But let everyone rise for the jury.